Hi guys, my name is International Master Mainline. So, first of all, I need to say I'm really sorry for the fact that I need to delay this third part of the elephant for so long. For so long, right? I think like 2 weeks, I don't know. Maybe even more. There obviously were some reason for that. Actually, a bit busy with the streaming stuff, bit is like busy with the Lunar News Year, and now I think pretty fine. Next, I must say that I want to make this one like the funner part of the Elephant Gambit. But, I mean, along the process when I make that, somehow I realized that actually this is much longer than I thought. So what I decided to do at the end is simply trying to divide the funner part into two more parts. And then, here I wouldn't go into this line, e5, e4, and queen e2, and f6. So here in this part, I will try to mention about like some ideas if he doesn't play queen e2, and also the line c3 here as well, which I consider to be playable for black, and not the white's strongest option to play with. The best move here by white is d3, which I will try to mention in the final part of the series, and also I need to tell you that this one in this line, black need to show that he do have enough compensation, which is not easy. So in today and in the third part of the elephant gambit, so I simply want to show you about like this line, like e5 here. In the first two parts, I've shown you like how to play against like some other moves like knight c3, d3, or knight e5, right? But now this is the main line, e5, e4. Here, so queen e5 is not something I want to recommend, since if you do that, he will like play knight c3 with a tempo, right? With a tempo, your queen need to get home, and then this pawn is also pretty weak as well. What can try to develop quite fast, which is annoying for us. And that is the main reason why I don't want to, give you advice on playing that line. e4, queen e2. Okay, so the questions obviously will be like, okay, so if he doesn't play queen e2, what can he do instead? Obviously, we are choosing his knight, so his knight need to run, right? But where can the knight run? There can be few locations for him. But knight g1 seems to be so passive that I don't think there will be someone who play that. Knight g5, knight g4 actually is being controlled by the queen. That's why I think here only knight e5 and knight e4 makes sense to this move. So I want to mention this thing in this part of the sorry for that. In this part of the elephant gambit, knight e4 is much more seen in the lower rated level. Knight 5 is so rare, I never seen it before. In the elephant gambit, since I sometimes I do play this live for black in some list games, even against some low rated player and some high rated player as well. So I think I have like enough examples to tell you knight 5 is super rare. But in case your opponent play this, just take in d5. The knight on e5 seems to be quite bad, right? But why get move d4? Now you need to play in passant. Since if you don't, white will have this move, targeting this pawn on f7, and also trying developing at the same time, which is not good for you. But now you take this. Knight d3 and knight f6. Knight c3 and queen e5. Somehow we got the ideal like the Scandinavian, right? But here things is much more easier for us. Bishop e2, bishop d6. Castles, and you can see here that the queen a5 actually is quite safe. White got no strong threat, and the position looks quite fine for us. The pawn structures is symmetrical, and obviously I think here black will face no problem at all. The next line I need to mention is like 94. 94 here. This one is the thing that I see sometimes, with some lower to player play. Let's go through. Queen e5. Once again, taking the pawn here is fine since right now we taking this and we threaten to take his knight as well. That forces him to spend a tempo to defend the knight. Now what can he do? What can white do here? He got a few choices. He can try and defend the pawn at c3 or also jumping the knight somewhere. Knight b3 is pretty rare. I don't say this much. But you can play knight f6 and things is fine for you. Knight c3 and queen e5. The idea is like bishop d6 here and castling. Also the queen e5 can prevent him to play d4 properly, and once again we are at least fine in this position. c3, similar knight f6. Here bishop e2 should d6. d3 should you takes, and then you castling again. So once again we are getting to that symmetrical pawn structures with I think not best space at all, and I think we got a decent position, right? Okay, so knight b5. This is the fun thing. I think what I can do if you play queen d5. By doing this move, so white want to target the pawn at c7. I would try to give you this defense, queen e5. Queen e5. Why playing this? First of all, by doing this move, I want to prevent him from playing d4. So I can play in passant, right? Good, important check. Second, the queen also defend c7 as well, and stay away from the move knight c3 with a tempo from him, right? So now actually he's not easy to improve his pieces. Bishop e2 with the idea to play d4, right? But no, a6. We are up a tempo to kick the knight away. Knight c3 looks like the only idea possible, but I mean, as you can see that the knight take away this square from the knight b1 as well. And obviously he needs to find some tempo to, get the knight somewhere. Knight f6. d4. Checks. This is good for us. I mean, like, the thing here you always need to remember and understand is that if you play castles here, you got this kind of battery. And this battery actually is one of the idea here that is very typical. And this is also why I want you to play like knight c6. No, I mean like bishop d6 for most of the time. Right? So if you play d4, once again we take. And queen d3, bishop d6 again. And castling next, that's c6. Once again, I think black is having an inadequate position here. Sure? So that's why the main line is queen e2. The idea is to pin our king here. Knight f6. Okay, so now here I think we can start the critical position that I need to tell you about the ideas first. About this elephant gambit, I can say that it is true and it is I don't think it is like an exception to all the gambits that if white know how to deal with this properly, he is not worse. But in a blitz games it's not that easy, and also this line is so rare that that can trick a lot of people. One thing I can tell you is that the idea here, you can see queen e2, although it pin our king, but also it prevents the bishop for f1 from developing as well. So he will fight it hard to castles and get his king to safety. His king needs to stay on the e file for a while. The idea with this move is simply that we can even think about sacrificing this pawn as well to go for some fast development, including bishop e7, castling, and rook e8, and trying to get a counterplay in and along the e file. Now what can white do? The two main lines like c3 and d3 here. Today I will try and cover knight c3. The line d3 I think I will try to get it in a separate part, since actually that part should be the most trickiest and most take a lot of efforts to make. Also, I think this knight c3 line is long enough. You can see that. Okay, let's get back here. So I don't know if I have another ideas to make. Like knight c3 and d3 here, they are simply, just a follow up to the white's idea earlier. Obviously, by queen e2, he wants to take this pawn, right? If he doesn't take this pawn, so somehow his coordination somehow becoming pretty weird. That's why now knight c3. Let's go. If knight g5 here, bishop e7, and knight e4 castles, the idea is once again the same. I will try to, explain that in depth pretty soon. Knight c3, bishop e7. The defending pawn comes nowhere. We'll play this. He played d3, and once again he trying to put more pressure on the e4 pawn. Bishop e7, knight e4, castles. Okay, let's go. Here I think this is pretty important. It's pretty important. Black is down 2 pawns in this position, right? But things actually is not that easy. You can see that now he finished his development. He finished castling, and then the white king is still on the e-file, right? Still e-file, and now the idea obviously is trying to go to it and try some way to open up the e-file to attack. So now what can white do against our idea? It's not easy. Obviously he needs to find a way to developing right away, right? He needs to find a way to get his king to safety. The number idea that white will do here is trying to castling on the queen side. But it's by no means easy. He needs to find the best way to do that. If not, he will end up end up in some serious troubles. Let's go. So here I will try to give 3 possible variations. Obviously it is so hard to think of everything that can try to arise from the game. But I guess that simply you go to it and you can try to give pressure through this file. That will be, I think, tricky enough for him. The 3 lines I think white can play here that I do give in this variation is d3, c4, and finally knight 6. Let's go with the 2 lines that I think that not so strong comparing to the final line first. Let's go to c4. This move actually I think is the worst. Rook e8. Rook e8. The idea is quite simple. Take here and then bishop f6. Go for discovery, right? d3. They move with the idea to take here back with the pawn. Bishop f5. Once again, the idea is trying to take here, and then this one again. This is very typical here, and you will meet this idea not only once in this line. Now I think you need to check. Since even if we play something like this one, we can play c6. And once again, sacrificing another pawn to go for the fast development. So not like this and this. You can find that white will have a really hard time to develop his pieces, right? And now for us, things is very, very natural and just I think that's straightforward, right? Which I think will be like we can be confident in the middle game. We have finished our development, and you cannot say the same thing about white. So here he takes, bishop e3 and c6. Once again, we do the same idea. It seems that we're down completely 2 pawns, but suddenly we can see that we have finished the development. We are exerting very strong pressure with the double bishop pair here, and also in this file as well. Castling got b5, and sacrificing another pawn, but it is really hard for white to meet. His pieces actually is not ready for the open up position, and also we can get the c5, queen e5 here and b4 here, and I think here actually black can be pretty confident in the middle game. d3 is in other lines that actually I see. I face some of the guy like 2800 and 2900. Even Daniel Naruski for my tricks in this line. So you guys can be pretty confident as well. 95. Now, if you're trying to play like g3 to develop here, and castling in the casting short, f5 is good. So now c3, got this move here to pin, and also with this idea as well, which will be really irritating for white. Should d2? No, he should d2, I'm sorry. Then d5. The idea is f5 rook e8. Should d2, rook e8. Actually now I don't know what should I do here. The engine showed that he should play castling. f5. But now it shows the move h4, which is insane. You can see that the engine even suggests that why should let the knight stay there, and he even wants to sacrifice the knight. But it's not easy to make. You know, in some of the games I met Pranav and I also met Daniel here. They all go for this move, like c3, which is a really bad blunder. Black can exploit this one, exploit this potential discovery by this move. Knight c3. Take here, we got this move, right? And here we got this move. This trap actually give me the win against Daniel, so you guys can be, once again, I think happy with this one. Let's go to the main line. Knight 6. Takes. The idea is to go for this one. Now what can we do? It's not easy once again. I'm trying to, you know, give you guys some, like all of the possible variation I can think of. But obviously, I can not be like getting full thing as well, so just trying to, you know, tell me later to give me some feedbacks and just, I mean, like help me to, I think, fulfill the file and the variation, right? I mean, like, I don't know, but I guess that I should be one of the first guy who trying to do some cross in this line, which is known to be quite shitty earlier, I guess. D4 is the main line, which actually is, I think, bringing white some small initiatives. Other lines is not that good. Okay, so let's try and go for the way. I think that he can, like, okay, go for the queen, but run, like, to defend this pawn on d5 first. So there are two moves, like queen d3 and queen c4. Queen d3 actually is the easiest way to meet. You get this, and then knight a6. This is the idea. By playing this knight, what can we do here? We can have this, harassing his queen, and you know, like, if for instance you could take here, we can play this, and even this one. Which I think that take here, and I mean, like we have a position with plenty of activities first. If he doesn't, like, he play a3 here, you can see here the engine go for something so high, right? Something like this one. Well, once again, I think black can be really confident in the middle game. So getting this position, the position that you can see a lot is that in some point we need to get back a pawn, take back the pawn d5, but we're having the huge lead in development. The bishop on f6 is very strong here, exerting strong pressure in the main diagonal. We got the main open file as well. Our pieces are more active and are more valuable. So basically, that is the idea in this line. And in this position, about queen c4 and go to e8. Again, bishop e2. And now you need to remember a very fascinating ideas. b5. Try harassing the queen away and by doing this move. I think why need to fight a bad, a good idea to maintain equality. Right now, if you play like queen d3 here, you see the engine doesn't like it, right? Like c5 here as well. And then suddenly, like for instance, like this and this. For instance, somehow without two double pawn here. But let's see these things, right? Let's see these things. So passive. And you know, whites need to even fight for equality here. The engine is giving something like minus 1.5. Okay, I mean, like, this is good for us. So, okay, I think, well, I will give this advice at the end. Here, so we get e2, b5, queen b3, and queen e7, forcing the queen come back. and like the exd5 here. Once again, I think we are really fine in this position. Sure. The best line here is queen d1, which actually I made some GM play with the idea to play like this and this. Now the best thing you can do is simply take the pawn. Bishop e2, c5, and knight c6. Oh no, you're down a pawn, right? But it's not that thing is not that easy. Now what you want to do is pushing b6 and trying to flank the bishop and getting rook out. You can see that the black princess although down a pawn, but he got tons of activities and he simply looks way more active, right? You cannot talk the same thing about white's counterparts. c3, the idea to defend against this pressure. b6, re1 bishop e7. You can see that I'm trying to make the move that like looks so logical for black. I mean like for black and but for white as well. But in this slide you can see that we need to sacrificing something, which is I mean like the true spirit of the gambit, and then trying to go for activities instead. That is the main stuff. So now before, let's go to mainline. Queen d5. Now actually rook e8 is not bringing something, so now please don't play this. I think, you know, trying to dig pretty deep into this line and figure out that here you can play bishop e3. That's not so nice for us. Queen d5, we got queen b5, and actually this is very annoying move to exchanging the queens. We need to spend, you know, a tempo to get the queen back, which I think most of the occasions, no, doesn't impress me. So I take down the pawn right away. Now if you play bishop e3, this is slightly different. We can play knight c6. We don't need to play rook e8 right now. Only this one as well. So it should be fine for us. c3. But now we play something different. Knight d7. With this idea. And also this slide, I need to admit that the engine to favor white. And also here, also, this is the main reason why I tell you that you should not play this in some classical game, or you can only play this if you know that your opponent won't have any theoretical idea in this line. Actually, this thing should favor white a bit, and if you get time to think, actually he's not bad at all. But you know, in blitz game or repeat game, it's not that stuff. And somehow, after I try to play myself some games, I recognize that it will be not so easy for white to prove his pawn up. And black will have tons of activities for the pawn missing. Knight d7, bishop e3, knight b6. Why you try and get the knight to b6? The idea here is trying to go through these squares. Also now, I mean like you can see black is going for something slightly different. I mean my sister now is not doing anything. So now we do this. With the idea trying to exploit this diagonal, I mean this square later, or you can even come to d5 if you want to. Basically, you can see that white still cannot castle yet, right? Still cannot castle yet. So now I go c4 here. But queen e5. Here and queen e5 here. And I think we're having 5 position. If you try and go for something like this, I think you simply go like, I think you can even go like queen d6, I guess. I'm not a fan of trading queens. You can't even thinking about some idea like, I don't know, but maybe, well, you can see the engine doesn't like this, right? But I guess that we can go for something like, even like a5, I don't know. I pretty like that idea. Or like this one is 5 as well. Although the endgame, I must say that favors white a bit. This move seems to be fine, but I don't know about this position, I can say that. You can also play this as well. This is also quite acceptable, if I was not mistaken. And this one, I guess. You do have some activities, but actually I'm quite doubt that you can have, you know, like enough compensation for the pawn. White pieces looks quite I'm installed as well, right? So one thing here with this line, I need to say that. Okay, let's come back to the move to, like, here we are. Let's go to this. First of all, I need to say that white should be better in this gambit, which actually is correct in most of the occasion right now, if you accept the gambit in the opening. Second, this is a very good weapon for a blitz game or a bit game, or in general some fast time control game. In classical, actually, I think it might be a bit risky to go for these approaches. Third, I do try to went pretty deep, to go pretty deep into the preparations. I can say that this is something that playable for some guy like, I think 2500 a bliss I can say. Just.com. Overall, you also need to play, pretty aggressive and ready for some complex battle as well. This light is not for the guy who want to play something positional and some peaceful stuff. The final part, the final part of the D3 we remove here, will be released pretty soon. But this is also the line that Black need to find some best idea to go for the compensation, which actually is not easy. The Dynasty 3 line promise something more for Black. I can be sure that. So guys, thank you for hearing, thank you for watching. Hope you like the content, hope you like the course. Thank you for watching again. Why say that twice? So well, hope you like that. Please give me some feedbacks. And love you. See you